All right. It's S1210 College Most Wanted, man. I'm juiced. You know what I mean? Tomorrow is the kickoff, the official kickoff, week one of college football. I wanted to ask a question since my team, Texas A&M, they're playing Northwest State University. I think that's a disgrace. I don't want to see that. I see that Alabama is going to be playing the Citadel. That's on their schedule, man. My question is should college football teams should they play FCS schools? My thing is, I don't think they should. I think that every team you should play should be in the FBS, which is football bowl subdivision, and not the which we used to be Division 1AA FCS, which would be like the Alabama states, you know what I mean? North Dakota, the North Dakota schools like that. You know what I mean? Youngstown State University, those schools. I just don't think that's good for college football. I think there's plenty of good games out there, and I'd rather see those games, the great games where. I'd rather see you play a mid-major than see you go against a school that's a guaranteed victory. If you say you want to work, what do you really learn from a game like that, though? I don't understand. I've never understood that. When you're up there, you're winning 73. So you're winning like 73 to 6 or something like that. What does that prove? I don't see how that helps you out, but I think even facing a mid-major helps you out because at least you're facing guys who are at least close to your level. Whether it's in an FCS, you're facing nothing but small guys and athletes who just aren't on that level, man. Maybe every now and then you may have one guy or one guy on that team, and that's about it. But he's completely outnumbered with a ton of athletes, and more than likely, you could be, especially playing a team like Alabama, who's probably going to send at least 5 players from that team to the NFL. Now, what's my thoughts on a lot of this stuff, man? Like I said, man, I'm frustrated with this. I'm tired of watching these bad games, but at least they're starting to get it. Some of these schools are starting to get it. They're starting to open up with stiff competition. If you lose early, it's good because it can allow you to actually work your way back into the playoff contention. Especially, man, if you were to lose early and then go ahead and win your conference, you still have a chance to get into the Final Four, the 14 playoff. So there's always that. But but I understand why teams do it, man. Teams are worried about when you get into especially when the non-conference schedule, you know what I mean? So it's like make it a easy non-conference schedule, and then what you want to do once you get into your conference schedule, you know what I mean? You're already going to start facing stiff competition. That's what a lot of the Power 5 schools believe. What's up, Renick 313? What up, dog? He said, Callie, what's up, family? Man, just talking about the frustration, man, of Alabama, Texas A&M. Texas A&M tomorrow plays Northwest State, man. That's Northwestern State. That's not a competitive game. But the following week they play Clemson. So I guess they decided they want to go with a soft touch before they got it going to the into the Lions Den, which is Clemson, man. Clemson's a completely stiff test. A team that's been in the Final for the last 2 years. They matter of fact, last 3 years, excuse me. They lost the first year to Alabama. The next year they avenged their loss. They beat Alabama in the national championship, and then last year they were beaten by Alabama in the semifinal game and the Final Four. You tell 2 people to hit the like button. If you know, second person hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? We getting it up. He said, don't sleep on Stanford. Oh, no, Stanford's going to be good, man. I'm looking forward to Stanford. I believe Stanford and USC play next week. I'm certain I need to go check it, but I think that's right. USC. That's a great game. Stanford's definitely. Stanford has Bryce Love. Stanford always plays tough physical football. Usually play really good defense, and they pound you, man. Stanford loves to play physical at the point of attack, man. They play completely different than the rest of the teams. A lot of these teams have gone to the spread offense, where Stanford goes to the conventional pro style offense, and they love to play smash mouth football, and they beat you there, and they can keep the score down. Sometimes, man, if they got a good quarterback, they can still run up the score too. But they always play really good defense, and they with their running game, it allows them to control the clock and to be able to deal with some of these spread teams. Because, as a matter of fact, if the spread team can't score on every drive, Stanford, if they get ahead, can run the clock out and suffocate you, man. So Stanford is always a threat, man. Stanford actually gets really good talent on top of actually having a really good scheme. I think that Stanford's always going to be a team that's going to be competing. Now, will they win the division? They have a chance. They're going to play Washington, USC, and if they could beat those two teams, in my opinion, UCLA is a dark horse too to be a threat. If they can avoid to some type of a bump in the road every now and then too, you may see like Stanford or one of the teams of the Pac-12, a school like Arizona State sneak up and beat them or something like that. You know what I mean? It's that if they can avoid that, and they can win those games that I just named, and those are tough games because Washington's extremely good. USC's good. Yep, Pac-12 looking good this year. Yeah, man. So Stanford, Washington, USC, possibly UCLA, and then I'm gonna tell you a team too. Cal's not. I don't expect them to win the division, but they're the kind of team that can sneak up and beat teams if they're not ready for them, like they did last year. They gave a lot of teams problems, man. They were in games until they started to get a lot of injuries on their defense. They were in a lot of games, man. And it's not because they're not very talented, but they're very well coached. Man, Justin Wilcox is a great coach, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out of there, but maybe he's one of those guys that's loyal. I don't know, but but to me, he's definitely a guy who shows all of the traits of being an elite coach. As soon as he gets more talent there in Berkeley, they're going to be something, man. It's going to be difficult for them to get a ton. They're going to have to be more like Stanford, though, because the GPA for the student athletes is 3.15, similar to Stanford's. 3 people here at the like button. But I'm excited about Pac-12. The Big Ten is loaded. The Big Ten is loaded from Wisconsin, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. You know what I'm saying? Michigan State, Indiana is the team that may sneak up and surprise some people this year too. They're loaded from top to bottom, man. That's the best conference in college football this year. It used to be the SEC, but to me, the Big Ten has been the best conference in college football probably for the past 2 to 3 years, in my opinion. So if Michigan's gonna be something, if Michigan's quarterback play is good too, it's a left front line. Renique 313. Yep. For real though, it is though, man. Yeah. So what we're gonna see, man. But I'm telling you, the Big Ten, is the best. Hey, man, I'm an SEC guy, Renique. I'm an SEC guy. So, I'm not the one to say this. I'm just looking at. If you just look at the talent, do I think that their best team? Now, Ohio State possibly could be a team that has enough, just as much talent as a school like Alabama. But Alabama, to me, is the best team in the nation. But the Big Ten is the best team, the best conference in the nation, if you know what I'm saying. There's a difference between who's the best team in the nation and who's the best conference in the nation. You know what I'm saying? I like the SEC. Yeah, I like the SEC. I'm I'm Texas A&M fan, bruh. I'm a Texas A&M Aggie. So, you know what I'm saying? But the Big Ten is loaded, man. The Big Ten is loaded. ACC, man, you have Clemson. Florida State may reach up and surprise some people. I think Miami's pretty good, but I think Clemson is still the team. Clemson's defensive line, oh my God. I don't know if you guys seen Clemson's defensive line is absolutely loaded. I think they have four players that'll be drafted next year, and they're gonna cause some problems if their quarterback play is good. If their offense is pretty decent, they have a chance to beat Alabama, man. That defensive line is the truth. And they're going to apply a lot of pressure to a lot of people, man. So I want everybody to keep a watch out for Clemson, for the Clemson Tigers, man. their defensive line is the truth. Their defense is going to be special this year. Of course, Alabama always plays great defense. That's to be expected when you're looking at Alabama. But Alabama's going to have, in my opinion, a really good quarterback play. They have a quarterback who can throw the ball, who has a little bit of mobility, has the ability to avoid sacks, and you know what I said? This is what I see, man. Tagovailoa, man. He's the truth, man. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts. Maybe Jalen Hurts, they can use Jalen Hurts in some certain packages where they can bring him in, and unless he decides to transfer, I don't know. But that's another interesting prospect there, right there, man. Man, there's just so much to say, man. Between, like I said, the Big Ten, ACC, the Big 12, man. Look out for Texas this year. Yep, Tua's a beast. Yes, he is. Isn't Alabama going to be missing 4 linebackers this season? Dude, it doesn't matter. Alabama always comes with good linebackers. They always recruit well. Florida State, surprise. Well, yeah, Clemson. No, Clemson is one of the teams that it'll probably be Clemson, Alabama national championship. Clemson is a team of the crop, a cream of the crop. ACC, Miami, as well as possibly, yeah, Virginia Tech's going to be good too. Could be as good as well, but Florida State versus Virginia Tech is an interesting matchup. Yeah, Clemson's the cream of the crop, man. They get a top recruiting class every year too. They're absolutely loaded with talent. But like I said, the one of a team that, like I said, the Big 12. Watch out for Texas. I hate to say that as a Texas A&M Aggie fan. I can't stand Texas. I really can't stand them. I got this. The horns upside down, man. That's the way I feel about the University of Texas. But they're very talented, man. Who is your favorite? My favorite for the Heisman this year. Bryce. Oh man, Bryce Love. Man, it's tough. Bryce, I may go with Bryce, man. I could go with Bryce, man. There's a lot of guys, though, man. There's a lot of guys who I could pick, but Bryce Love, man. I would say, yeah, Bryce Love, man. Bryce Love is extremely talented, man. Extremely talented, man. I can see him putting up 1,800, possibly, if not 2,000 yards. If he doesn't put up 1,800, maybe Bryce Love does something like 1,500 rushing. Maybe 600 receiving out of the backfield. Bryce Love, man, is no joke, man. No joke. He will be in the NFL, guaranteed. But yeah, watch out for Texas, man. But TCU is gonna be good, man. TCU is gonna be really, really good. I want to see what Oklahoma does this year. You know what I mean? I really want to see what Oklahoma's gonna do. I mean, it's. Kyler Murray, man. I remember Kyler Murray when he came out of Texas. He remember out of high school he went to the University of Texas A&M. It was between him and Allen. Allen unfortunately couldn't. He always threw a lot of interceptions. Ended up getting taken out. So they went with to Skyler Murray, and Murray was up and he really couldn't throw either. He was able to run very well. Utah's always a good team that plays good defense and has great special teams. What do I think about Urban Meyer? I think Urban Meyer, man, I think his situation, look, first, I don't think he should have been fired. That's not my thing. I don't think he should have been fired. But I don't think he showed any kind of remorse. I think what he did was absolutely garbage. Suspension, man, I don't know if he... I guess the suspension is good, a 3-game suspension. But I heard some people saying he should have been suspended for it. I disagree. I mean, he didn't do it, but I mean, his coach is beating his wife. That's crap. I mean, and you know, in today's society, with the Me Too movement, you can't really. There's almost a zero tolerance on that type of stuff. I'm almost astonished that he kept his job, man. I mean, but Urban Meyer is one of the top, 3 coaches in all of college football, man. They're not going to want to get rid of that guy. That guy's irreplaceable. You know what I mean? For real, Urban Meyer's irreplaceable, man. Say what you want to say about the guy, but the guy's an elite coach. One of the top coaches in all of college football, man. The key, I mean, so he should have said something. Urban Meyer should have said something, man. But it's tough. You get with guys like Urban Meyer tend to be loyal to their coaches. You know what I mean? So, dude is a friend of Urban Meyer's too, so it's kind of the thing where you just kind of brush under the rug. You kind of hope it just goes away. That's what Urban Meyer was more than likely wish it just went away and that he never had to ever speak up on it. But but he had no remorse. He had no remorse. Anybody trying to say, "Oh man, the way he spoke about it during the press conference, he spoke about it. He didn't give a fuck." That's the thing. He didn't care. I'm keeping it 100. His apology was meaningless. There was no. I mean, he didn't. That wasn't a real apology because he wasn't sorry. So I'm just keeping it 100. Should he have been sorry? Yeah, man. You should know condoning beating women, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't condone any man putting their hands on a woman. Period. And me personally, I would have fired the coach, man. I would have fired the coach. This guy's beating his wife. I know about it. Knowing the environment right now in America, I couldn't allow that to go without saying anything or doing something. At least say something to the guy like, look, dude, you got to stop putting your hands on your wife and assaulting your wife, man. We can't have this. You need to go see somebody or something, man. I can't have you on my staff doing that. He said, I would have fired him for something else. Yeah, you could have come up with something else. Yeah, you could have come up with another reason to fire him. But yeah, to keep it low. But that stuff was gonna come out, man. Somebody's gonna let it out. Zach Smith went on Twitter tirade today, going after reporters. Hey, man, it is what it is, man. I'm just letting you guys know, man. I mean, to me, man, like this, man, don't beat your wife. Don't beat your wife. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? You don't want to get fired. You know what this environment is. Beating your wife, or you know what I mean, assault, sexual assault, any kind of violence towards women is not going to be condoned, man. So I'm just saying it right now, bro. That's the last thing you want to do, man. Don't put your hands on your wife. Don't put your hands on your wife, man. You know what? I mean, this dude, he it's his fault, man. It's his fault. He the one chose. He chose to beat his wife. He did. It's his fault. So you're going to blame the media for what you did. How about you apologize for assaulting your wife? For real. Because, heck, I guarantee you, most men don't want anybody somebody putting their hands on their wife. You put your hands on your wife, it's okay. It ain't okay, man. It's just not okay. And you should be publicly ashamed. But his reaction tells you that he doesn't feel like he's done anything wrong. He doesn't feel like he's done anything wrong. You know, if this was a regular job, he probably would more than likely have his regular job. But this is not. This is the job where you're in the public eye. And it's a high profile job, especially being out of school like Ohio State. Ohio State, one of the flagship schools of all of college football. No way in the world are you going to be allowed to hit your wife and it's not going to surface somehow. It's something like that's always going to surface up. So you got to be careful what you do. For real. Because somebody's going to find out. It could have been somebody in his family that leaked that out. I don't know. It could have been his wife that leaked that out. There's no telling. But you know what I mean? Why you should go get help. But if you don't think you're doing anything wrong, this guy probably will never get another job again in college football. His career is likely over. With the environment that we're in right now, his career is probably over. And his tirade probably ensured that he doesn't get hired anytime soon or ever again. Because he's shown no remorse. Blaming the media for what you done. You beat your wife. You're a clown, man. You're a clown. And a coward, man. Now, I don't think your wife should put her hands on you, but a man should never put his hands on a woman. There's only a couple of circumstances I can see that. Maybe she's harming your kid or something like that. Like she's harming your children or something like that. But to me, you just grab her and get your kids and leave. But it'll be hard not to want to do something. But, man, for the most part, man, there's basically no good reason to hit you. There's no good reason to put your hands on a woman, period. You're a man. As men, we are physically stronger than women. For real. We have more physical. We have more muscle mass. We're naturally bigger. We can completely overpower women. We should not be hurting them. Period. Period. I mean, it's just we should that should be known by now, man. I mean, it's the fact that this is still even an issue is ridiculous. If I'm pretty sure a lot of people's fathers have told them that. Callie, I said, it said, Callie, I have no problem with FBS and FCS schools play. I just don't want the school in the top 15 to play a small school. Hey, hey, Mike, I do. I just think that if you're a Power 5 school, what do you get out of playing a school like that? For real, what do you get out of playing a school like that? Especially if you're a Power 5 school. If I'm a Power 5 school, say this right now. If I'm in the Pac-12, SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, me playing a school like North Dakota doesn't help me recruit. I'm trying to play high-profile teams like Alabama so I can help myself recruit in the future. Now, even if I'm losing these games, my goal is if I can get better to the point was like, look, man, you come here. Look, we've been losing because we're building right now. But if you come here, you could be one of the first recruits to come here, high caliber recruits. You are a 5-star recruit. You want to know, you're an All-American. You're a high school parade All-American. How about you come here to my school, and what we're going to do, we're going to be playing in all these high-profile games all the time. Because our goal is to be playing for the national championship. We're going to be in the 14 playoff. We're going to be competing for the 14 playoff a year. By the time of your junior year, you're going to be playing in the 14 playoff. I guarantee you that. We're going to give our best effort. But I need you and I need you to help me recruit some of the other top players so they could be some of the first kids to come in here so we could be the ones to go take down the Alabama. So we could go take down the Clemson. So we go take down Ohio State, Michigan, Texas A&M, LSU, USC, UCLA. You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality. By playing those schools, though, those schools don't help you build your profile, especially if you're on the lower rung of those schools. The goal is so you can get more talent, so you can compete with the Oklahomas of the world. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able to get Oklahoma on your schedule, convince Alabama not to play the Citadel, and tell Alabama to play me. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm an Oregon State or something like that, or a Cal, or you know what I mean, or a Baylor or something. I would want them to play me instead. So if they play me, it looks better because they played a Power 5 school. I'm talking about Alabama. And it helps me. I was like, hey, look, we lost to them, but I'm telling you, you want to be involved in these games. You as a parade All-American, look, aren't you tired of just going to Alabama and all these other top schools? Wouldn't you rather come here and help build a new legacy here? We could turn this school from a bottle feeder into one of the top dogs, into an alpha dog school, to an alpha male school. When you want to be one of the ones to help create a new chapter, to help create a whole new brand new legacy here. That we aren't a losing school. We are a school that wins. That's my mentality. So if you could convince those schools to play you, then I think you win long term. That's just my opinion. So that's why I disagree with playing FCS schools. You know what I mean? And I mean Alabama and Texas A&M schools like that, they can get away with it for now. But I'm hoping long term that that the playoff will actually make them pay for that. So if you lose a game, I'm gonna remember that you played the Citadel. I'm gonna remember that you played Northwestern State. That's what I'm gonna remember. Instead of a school that played 3 or 4 Power 5 schools as non-conference. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. Who's your top 4 in the playoff this year? I got Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and then I got I'm gonna go Washington. So I'm gonna go with Washington, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State. That's my final 4 right there. That's my Final Four. And it's subject to change to, injury and all that stuff like that. But that's my Final Four. I think that's those four teams right there. And don't forget. I mean, those teams can be upset too. Alabama, Georgia can also. Don't be surprised if Georgia get in there. Don't be surprised if TCU beat Ohio State in Week 4. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. TCU's possibly can get up in there. The problem with TCU though, TCU always drops some conference game that they shouldn't. Like they'll lose to a Texas or something out of nowhere, or Oklahoma. A team in the Big 12 that upsets teams every now and then. Iowa State. Iowa State knocks off a team every now and then. For whatever reason, teams take an L to Iowa State, man. And so that's it. Look, Iowa State's always a team to be on the lookout for, man. Not for someone I think is going to be competitive, but when it comes to upset alerts, always look out for the Cyclones, man. The Cyclones and Pittsburgh, man. I'd say Iowa State and Pittsburgh are two teams that just upset teams on a regular basis, man. So I would always be on the look for when you see in the team, like especially heavily favored or favorited to play that team. I'm gonna be on upset alert a couple of times this year, a few times this year with those two schools right there for whatever reason, especially Pittsburgh, undefeated school. At the end of the year, I'm rolling with Pittsburgh, man. And I don't know, they just seem to get it done, man. I want to see though a Clemson. Can Clemson run the table without dropping a game? It seems like Clemson always drops a conference game to somebody, man, that they shouldn't. Clemson dropped. I think Clemson one year dropped to Pittsburgh. I think they've dropped to was it the Virginia Tech or something? I forgot in a couple of years, but yeah, Clemson drops a conference game that they shouldn't every year too. I think Clemson dropped. No, Clemson dropped to Syracuse. Wasn't it Clemson that dropped to Syracuse? I forgot. Was it Syracuse? Yeah, I think Clemson dropped to Syracuse or something like that one year, man. It was ridiculous. But I mean, it happens, man. Conference games can be tough because of that. That's why the SEC's always had their issues. But you know what I mean? It's tough to run. It's tough to run the schedule undefeated, man. It's so tough. But if you could do it, man. But I think dropping the game takes a lot of pressure off of a team, man. Instead of going into the playoffs undefeated, that is so tough to go into the playoffs undefeated, man. It's so much better to drop a game early, and you don't have to go with that pressure we got to go undefeated. I think dropping the game too helps teams maintain focus. It ain't no joke. Virginia is coming strong with starters coming back. Yeah. Oh man, on the ACC, it's definitely not a joke, man. But Clemson's still the cream of the crop. But no, I wouldn't surprise me if Clemson drops a game. I think Alabama gonna drop a game too. Georgia gonna drop a game because they still got Auburn there. I mean, Texas A&M is on the rise. I don't necessarily know if Texas A&M is gonna be there this year. Clemson has playing Texas A&M, I think, in week 2. I think we got Clemson week 2, man. That's a tough game for us, man. Oh man, I don't like that game for us right now, but it is what it is. It's there. We need to be in those kind of games. We need those kind of games, man, long term, because we need those high profile games to help us continue to attract recruits. Right now, Texas A&M has the #1 recruiting class in the nation. That's exciting. You know what I'm saying? But what if Michigan was upset by Appalachian State early in the year and Bama loses to Auburn at the end of the year? Which one should get it? Oh, man. Bama. Losing to Appalachian State. But Appalachian State is now a power. It's not a Power 5. It's now an FBS school. So Appalachian State ain't the end of the line. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, 7-5. I'd be happy with 7-5 this year. I just want to be competitive and not get bullied. That's all I'm asking for Texas A&M. Don't get bullied this year. Show some grit and some toughness. That's what I want to see from Texas A&M this year, man. But I'm gonna do another live stream tomorrow. I want to do another live stream before any of the games start tomorrow, you guys. And I want to get this game going because, like I said, college football is getting started. I want to be doing live streams on the weekends too. You know what I'm saying? We just getting started with this college football thing, man. And like I told you, high school, we're gonna be talking about more of that too. Excited about all this, man. Excited about all this. college football starts, man. Can you believe it? Over in you guys, I don't know if you're in Texas or in the East Coast right now. It's officially Thursday. It's college football day for you guys. So I'm a couple hours away from college football day. But like I said, oh man, it's beautiful there, man. What time? Oh, I may do one. If you're on the Central Time, maybe I'll do one for you. Maybe like 1 p.m. or something like that for you, or maybe a little earlier than that. We'll see. But I'm definitely doing a college football stream tomorrow again on S1210 College Sports Most Wanted, of course. So be on the lookout for that. Just be checking out sometime between, from a Pacific time, it'll probably be between 9 and 11 a.m. So that would be 11 to 1 and 11 p.m. Yeah, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, which will be 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. So salute to you guys, man. Big up college football. Yeah, once again, good it will get away from boxing, man. I love college football, man. It's the best, man. Yeah, or you're Eastern? Yeah, so like I said, 12 p.m. Eastern Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, man. Be on the lookout for that, man, because college football games start at, I think they start at 8 o'clock for you guys. No, they start at 7 o'clock for you guys tomorrow. 7 o'clock, which is 4 p.m. on Pacific Time. So salute to y'all, man. I'm out.